Welcome back to Bowling Green Technical College Workforce Solutions, Transforming Lives, Transforming Kentucky. I'm Jim Lewis, your host, and my guest for this part of the segment is Ron Wyans, Vice President of TOYO Automotive Products in Franklin, Kentucky. Ron, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
I understand that you have been working now with Lean for some number of months, 6 or 7 months now.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about what led you into making a decision to use the Lean business philosophy at TOYO, and maybe a little bit about what your outcomes have been?
Okay. Well, as you know, last year, and actually in 2008, our economy really changed for the worse for us, and it also impacted the automotive industry, which we're a part of. We supply automotive parts. Saw a huge decline in our sales as a result of that, and it left us realizing that we needed to make some changes, because with the resulting loss in our sales, that it was going to be very difficult to actually meet or sustain some good profitability, and so that became kind of a crisis for us that we really needed to overcome. Made us realize we had a lot of shortcomings that we needed to change in order to move forward and make it through this rough period of time.
Okay. Well, the crisis was what really drove you to that decision point then, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But you had seen other opportunities as you came in, because I understand that you've been with TOYO for almost 2 years now?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you came in, you were doing an assessment of where the company is and how they're positioned in the industry and what they might need to move forward. Had you been working on some change activities prior to deciding to go Lean, or?
Well, yeah, we were assessing where we were at with the company and how things were operating, and we recognized that there were some things that we needed to change. We recognized that we needed to be more efficient in a lot of ways. There were times where we struggled to make some shipments on time, which is not a good thing in the automotive industry, and we overcame some of that, but it was difficult at times to do that. We also recognized that we had a tremendous amount of inventory that we were just working over and over, and just creating a lot of extra work for people, just literally transporting the inventory through the plant. And Lean terminology, the old batch and queue method, we were batching things through in large quantities, and oftentimes we were finding out that what we needed at this end of our plant was still down at this end, waiting to finish that batch to move it along. So it just wasn't a very efficient way for us to do our business.
Okay, well, I'm sure that other business leaders probably have some apprehensions about embarking on a Lean journey, because it means change. It means changing the way you're doing business. Can you share a little bit of maybe what your personal apprehensions might have been, but maybe the general apprehensions might have been in the company embarking on this thing that they don't know anything about?
Well, basically it was kind of scary to think how we're going to change this whole thing, and how are we going to get people to buy into it? How are we actually going to achieve this? Because it seems like you feel like, oh, I've got to move a mountain here in order to get the kind of change that we really need. So from that standpoint, it seems like it's going to be a very large, enormous task that's going to be very difficult to implement and manage and work through all those issues. But actually, it isn't that bad once you get into it and actually start doing it. So that was probably my biggest concern, was getting everybody on board to understand what we needed to do and how we were going to do that.
Okay. Did everybody buy in right away?
No. No,
Okay.
they did not. They thought this was another flavor of the month kind of issue that, oh yeah, here comes the next best program through, and this will go through and probably go by the wayside as other things had come and gone in the past.
Now, I know that you did something that I think is that most business managers really need to think about. And when you embarked on this journey, you knew that the change process was going to make some improvements that might displace people in the work that they were doing. But you kind of went out on a limb, and to settle that that question in people's mind, you kind of gave them a little bit of a kind of a guarantee. Can you share what that was?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Knowing that if we could make the improvements that we thought we could, it would eliminate the need for some labor. I mean, you're going to cut out a lot of waste, and we knew that we would be facing that. However, I made a commitment to all my people that in no way would any of them be released or laid off, terminated, if you will, as a result of our improvement efforts. In fact, I made a commitment that as we improved and we were actually able to free up that labor, then we would find ways to put them in the system somewhere else that would help us, actually generate more positive outcomes by, utilizing that labor to organize the factory more, work on improvement projects as a team. Just several of those kinds of activities that would keep them inclusive and not let them go. So I think that was one of the key things that helped them get over the fact that we were going to make a big change in how we did our business and how we managed our factory.
Well, can you share with us a little bit of the outcomes that you have experienced so far on your journey?
Well, actually, it's been pretty remarkable so far. The interesting thing is that within a very short time, within 3 to 4 months, we were able to reduce our inventories virtually in half. And we're still trying to find ways to get it even less. Of course, that's been a big impact on helping our cash flow for our business, which is critical, especially when you have diminishing sales. Every dollar counts to help keep your factory going. In addition to that, by reducing those inventories, we have freed up floor space. That floor space then allowed us to start to reorganize and our equipment, and to be able to put our equipment in a position that made it even more efficient. Our parts flow faster through our a lot of those processes now, which in turn allows us to reduce more inventory. So it's interesting how one thing just feeds on another.
Yeah. So it's an exciting opportunity so far, right?
Oh, absolutely.
But it's a journey. It's a transformation process, and it just continues to go on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think is just remarkable, we have a lot of aha moments as you go through this journey. Starting out, we didn't seem like we were getting anywhere, honestly. It just seemed like, well, yeah, this inventory's going down, and and things are coming through faster. We're noticing those differences. But then it got to a point to where it didn't seem like we were making progress, but all these problems kept popping up on us. And we're like, wow, this is what's going on here. It just seems like we're just as busy as we were before, fighting fires. But quite honestly, what we discovered, and it was an aha moment for us, was the fact that because we had reduced our inventories and sped our throughput through the plant up quite a bit, any glitch, any problem now pops up very clearly for us. And now what we're finding is that the issues that we had all along that we didn't realize we had, now we're able to see them, identify them, attack those problems, and then we get even more benefit. So it just starts feeding on itself, and before you know it, you've made some significant progress. And that's been an interesting part.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us today, Ron. I hope you'll come back after you continue on your journey to share a little bit more of the experiences that are going on at TOYO.
Well, absolutely.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.